Bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong. Welcome to Mouse. This is Joe, the bearded historian. He'll tell you an interesting history. Be careful of his soldiers, they can be brats. This is Angel, she's an entity. She'll cause Jesus and plant her hands at you. This is Sue, she likes spirits, not the alcohol. She's the reason this channel exists. This is David, he likes fire trucks. He's here occasionally. Bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong, bing bongy bong. We preserve his story. Alright, Merry Christmas everybody. We have a Santa race already. Yeah. I forgot how to do this song. Here's a shout out just for you. You support me, I support you. This shout out is for our friends. Hang on a minute. Okay, now then. Start. Maybe. Come on. Come on. Okay, here we go. There she stole. C. Tripping, Antoinette, Jacob, JB, Reef, Onya, We Go, Keep Digging, Pinned, Brits, Wit, Funderburg, Crystal, Notcha Daily, Boys, Zol, Paralife, Cruise Nuts. There's Bluegrass, Rowdy, Justus, George. There's Van, Catching, Josie, Cruising is Fun, Carnival, Pinned is currently in the lead. There's Haven, there's Rich and Leo, there's Ohio, there's Rambles, let's see, there's Onya. Alright, it's Onya. Okay. There she stole, there's Nacho, there's Abundance, Keep Digging, Jamaican, Spectral, Hiking Ontario, Jamaican, Catching, Cruising is Fun, Carzo, She Trips, Pinned, M&J, Mark, Pedro, Rowdy, Eric, Sylvia, Crystal, Northern Woman, Ron, Rich and Leo, Sea Tripping, Debbie, Blended, Mark, Gloria, Misty, Muncie, Haven. Oh, it's going to be Lynch. Hang on a minute. All right, this is Team Lynch, BMD. This is Kathy and Tim Lynch. They live on the beach or near the beach. Been married for 35 years. Congratulations, you're 10 years ahead of us. And they do scuba diving, fishing, and beach combing. Their channel is a lot of beach metal detecting. That's what the BMD stands for. And so if you are in our metal detecting community, you should check them out. They're fun, they're wonderful, they're great supporters. Get to wish them a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Like, share, comment, and a Merry Christmas to each and every one of you. Very Merry Christmas to all of you file peoples. We appreciate you all, and the historian's going to tell you something interesting that's sort of holiday related.
Yep, this one is kind of attributed to my wife, because it's one of her favorite drinks about this time of year. Whether you find it with some Southern Comfort or just a traditional brand. About this time of year, you only seem to find it about this time of year. It's going to be eggnog. Now, this is historically known as milk punch or egg milk punch. When alcoholic beverages are added, it is a rich, chilled, sweetened, dairy-based beverage traditionally made with milk, cream, sugar, egg yolk, and whipped egg white, which tends to give it a frothy texture and its name. A distilled spirit, like brandy, rum, whiskey, or bourbon, is often a key ingredient. So originally, you think about the origins of eggnog. It comes right out of the UK. Color, creamy white, flavor is a custard, and then you can have it with or without alcohol. So that's like alcohol. Now, throughout North America, Australia, and some of the European countries, eggnog is traditionally consumed over the Christmas season, with early November to late December being the prime time of the year that you can find it. Variety called Panche Crema has been made and consumed in Venezuela and Trinidad since the 1900s, also as part of the Christmas season. During that time, commercially prepared eggnog is sold in grocery stores in these countries. Eggnog is a homemade using milk, eggs, sugar, and flavorings, and served with cinnamon or nutmeg. While eggnog is often served chilled, in some cases it is warmed, particularly on cold days, similar to the way mulled wine is served warm. Yeah, chunky. Eggnog or eggnog flavoring may also be added to other drinks, such as coffee. They say eggnog latte, espresso drink, and tea, or to dessert foods such as egg custard puddings. No. Now, terminology from the Modern Bartender's Guide from 1878, there's one you're just going to leap out the shelves off, lists many variant names for the drink and distinguishes plain eggnog, egg milk punch, and milk punch from one another. It also includes variants such as Baltimore eggnog, General Jackson eggnog, Imperial eggnog, two types of sherry cobbler eggnog, as well as sherry cobbler with egg, mulled claret with egg, egg sour, and Saratoga egg lemonade, also called sea breeze. Now, the history, and it's kind of interesting how far back this particular beverage goes. The etymology of the ingredients used to make original eggnog is debated. The original Oxford English Dictionary, nog, was a kind of strong beer brewed in East Anglia. The first known use of the word nog was in 1693. Alternatively, nog may stem from noggin, a Middle Eastern term for a small carved wood mug used to serve alcohol. Now, posset, a curdled beverage of milk in either wine or ale, was a popular beverage in Britain that may have been the precursor to eggnogs. Some monks would add eggs and fig to posset. However, the British drink was also called an egg flip, from the practice of flipping or rapidly pouring the mixture between two pitchers to mix it.
Interesting.
Shooting glasses. Now, off of that, one dictionary lists the word eggnog as being an Americanism invented in 1765 and 1776. Now, the Boston College professor Frederick Douglass Opie, the name right out of the South, contends that the term derives from the two colonial slang words, grog, or rum, that bartenders served in noggins, small wooden mugs. From here came egg and grog, and egg and grog, and finally the portmanteau eggnog. Mary Popick disputes the egg and grog theory on the basis there's absolutely no evidence to support it. Another suggestion is that nog is related to the Scottish term nug, or nugged ale, meaning ale warmed with a hot poker. Online Etymology Dictionary states that eggnog was an American neologism in 1775, a compound of egg and nog, the latter term meaning strong ale. Now, earliest documented example of eggnog dates to 1775, when a Maryland clergyman and philologist, Jonathan Boucher, wrote a poem about the drink. Fog drowns in the morn, or better still, eggnog. At night hot suppings and midday grog, my palate can regale. Boucher's verse was not, however, published until 30 years after his death, thus the word first appeared in print only in 1788, in the March 26th edition of the New Jersey Journal. I think it's funny that a clergyman is the one hitting the bottle. In an article referring to a young man drinking a glass of eggnog. Well, in 1869, a dictionary entry for eggnog defines it as a mixture of wine, spirits, eggs, and sugar, and there's no mention of the dairy products. Now, while culinary historians debate this exact lineage, Most agree eggnog originated from the early medieval British drink called posset, which was made with hot milk that was curdled with wine or ale and flavored with spices. In the Middle Ages, posset was used as a cold and flu remedy. Sweetie, go hit the eggnog. It'll make you feel better.
I still don't feel very good.
Posset was popular from medieval times to the 19th century, and eggs were added to some posset recipes. According to Time magazine, by the 13th century, monks were known to drink a posset with eggs and figs. A 17th century recipe for my Lord of Carlisle's sack posset used in a heated mixture of cream, whole cinnamon, mace, nutmeg, 18 egg yolks, 8 egg whites, and 1 pint of sack wine, which is a fortified white wine related to sherry. At the end, sugar, ambergris, and animal musk were stirred in. Posset was traditionally served in a two-handed pot. It looks kind of like a teapot. Kind of interesting looking. Take a look. See?
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's just tiny little one. It's kind of cute. The aristocracy had costly posset pots made from silver. Now, eggnog is not the only mixed sweetened alcohol drink associated with winter season. Things like mulled wine or wassail is a drink made by ancient Greeks and Romans with sweetened spiced wines. I've heard of mulled wines. I think they have an event up in Hill City during the winter season involving mulled wines. Might also be one up in Deadwood or Spearfish.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've heard of mulled wine. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah. Now, with the drink spread to Britain, the locals switched to the more widely available alcohol, hard cider, to make their mulled beverages. During the Victorian era, Britons would drink purl, a heady mixture of gin, warm beer, sugar, bitter herbs, and spices. Why do you need bitter herbs?
Make it bitter.
You don't need it more bitter.
A lot. Remember from a restaurant or bar
rescue and stuff.
rescue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bitters in their drinks.
Yeah. And in the colonial area in America, the drink was transformed into an ale and rum-based flip warmed with a hot poker. Now, developments, and this is the cute little thing I was going to show you, the wooden cups. It's cute.
That's cute. I'll see if I can find a
picture of that, yeah. In Britain, the drinks were originally popular among the aristocracy. Milk, eggs, and sherry were foods of the wealthy, so eggnog was often used in toasts to prosperity and good health. Those who could afford milk and eggs and costly spirits mixed the eggnog with brandy, Madeira wine, or sherry to make a drink similar to the modern alcoholic eggnog. Now, the drink crossed the Atlantic to the British colonies during the 18th century. Since brandy and wine were heavily taxed, rum from the Atlantic slave trade with the Caribbean was a cost-effective substitute. Let's go hit some rum. The inexpensive liquor, coupled with plentiful farm and dairy products available to colonists, helped the drink become very popular in America. In the winter, let's settle down for a nice mug of... so you guys are going to have fun drinking this stuff.
Right.
Let's go ahead and have some eggnog. Make it nice and warm. When the supply of rum to the newly found United States was reduced as a consequence of the American Revolutionary War, Americans turned to a domestic whiskey, eventually bourbon in particular, as a substitute. Places in the American colonies where even bourbon was too expensive, homemade moonshine, woohoo, was added to eggnog. Eggnog became tied to the holidays when it was adopted in the United States in the 1700s. Eggnog seems to have been popular on both sides of the Atlantic in the 18th century. Now, records show that the first U.S. president, George Washington, would serve an eggnog-like drink to visitors, which include rye whiskey, rum, and sherry. The president's recipe called for a variety of alcoholic beverages along with the dairy and egg ingredients. 1 quart cream, 1 quart milk, 1 dozen teaspoons or tablespoons of sugar, 1 pint of brandy, 1/2 pint rye whiskey, 1/2 pint Jamaica rum, and 1 quart pint of sherry. Can you pry their fingers off the mug after they're done drinking this?
All I can say is that's a lot.
That's a lot of liquor. Recipe instructs cooks to mix the liquor first, then separate yolks and whites of the eggs and add sugar to the beaten yolks, mixing well. Add milk and cream, slowly beating. Beat whites of eggs until stiff and fold slowly into the mixture. Let set in place to cool for several days. Taste frequently. The recipe did not specify the number of eggs to use, however, modern chefs estimate approximately 1 dozen. Are you going to let a drink just sit out there for a couple of days?
Apparently.
That thing's got to be fermented. Of course, your alcohol's already fermented. What can we say? Now, the Tom and Jerry is a form of hot eggnog cocktail that was once popular. The Tom and Jerry was invented by British journalist Pierce Egan in the 1820s using brandy and rum, added to eggnog and served hot, usually in a mug or a bowl. This is National Christmastime cocktail in the United States. Well, there you go, sweetie. Tomorrow we're going to have a nick of Tom and Jerry.
Well then, that could be fun.
Yeah. Isaac Wells Jr. in his book travels through the states of North America and provinces of Upper and Lower Canada during the years of 1795, 96, and 97, wrote, "The American travelers, before they pursued their journey, took a hearty draught each, according to custom, of eggnog, a mixture composed of new milk, eggs, rum, and sugar, beat up together. In a similar way to how Posset was drunk and was a cold remedy in the medieval era, there is evidence that the eggnog was also used as a medical treatment. In an 1892 scientific journal, article proposes the use of eggnog to treat grippe, commonly referred to as the flu, along with ammonium chloride to treat the cough and quinine to cure the illness."
Well then, you get you some of that, yeah?
Nasty. In the American...
Are you saying you won't take your medicine?
No, I'm going to refuse my medicine.
Uh-huh.
You can have the eggnog. In the American South, eggnog is made with bourbon, and eggnog is called coquito in Puerto Rico, where rum and fresh coconut juice or coconut milk are used in its preparation. Mexican eggnog, also known as rum pulp, was developed in Santa Clara. It differs from regular eggnog in its use of Mexican cinnamon and rum or grain alcohol. In Peru, eggnog is called Biblia con pisco and is made with the Peruvian pomace brandy called pisco. The Germans, they have their eggnog called beer soup. It is made with beer. Il's punch, which is a German version of eggnog made with white wine, eggs, sugar, cloves, tea, lemon, or lime juice, and cinnamon. And even another recipe dating from 1904 calls for the eggs, lemon juice, sugar, white wine, water, and rum. And even Iceland get on the game with an eggnog that is served hot as a dessert.
No.
Ew. No. It's going to go bad. Now, the homemade variety. Traditional homemade is made of milk or cream, sugar, raw eggs, one or more alcoholic spirits, and spices. Often vanilla or nutmeg, and in some recipes, cloves. Some recipes call for the eggs to be separated so that the egg whites can be whipped until they are thick. This gives the drink a frothy texture. American food show presenter Alton Brown points out that based on the ingredients, eggnog is almost identical to ice cream. It is technically just a stirred custard made of milk and egg. Homemade recipes may use vanilla ice cream blended into the beverage, particularly when the goal is to create a chilled drink. If you think about it, I wonder if that would be classified as an A&W freeze.
I think it would be close to a freeze.
Yeah, because technically the milk can be eaten with a spoon. Or a straight-out drink if you want a heart freeze.
Mm-hmm.
My throat! Okay. Back here we got it. Technically, it's just a recipe that uses vanilla ice cream blended into a beverage, particularly when the goal is to create a chilled drink. Some recipes would call for condensed milk or evaporated milk in addition to the milk and cream, so extra milk. Now, acetophilus milk, a fermented milk product, has been used to make eggnog, while some recipes call for unwhipped heavy cream. In some recipes, whipped cream is added to the mixture, which gives it a more frothier texture. Various sweeteners are used, such as white sugar, brown sugar, and maple syrup. Now, there are variations in ingredients in different recipes. Traditional eggnog has a significant fat content due to the use of the cream and a high sugar content. Diabetics beware.
What?
Alcohol used in different national and regional versions of eggnog. Again, we have brandy, cognac, bourbon, whiskey, sherry, rum, and grain alcohol. Now, Canadian chef Heidi Fink states that one of the reasons people are making less homemade eggnog is that the beverage is expensive to make due to the use of substantial quantities of cream, eggs, and spirits. Right now, eggs are really pricey. Concerns about the safety of raw eggs might be another reason for the decline in homemade eggnog making. This is true. Now, modern commercial eggnog manufacturers add gelatin and other thickeners, a cost-saving method that enables manufacturers to produce a thick beverage while using less egg and cream. Commercial eggnog tends to contain less eggs than homemade nog, and in the U.S., FDA regulations only require that 1% of a product's final weight be made up of egg yolk solids for it to bear the eggnog name. Under current U.S. law, commercial products sold as eggnog are permitted to contain milk, sugar, modified milk ingredients, glucose, fructose, water, carrageenan, guar gum, natural and artificial flavorings, spicings, monoglycerides, and colorings. So a lot of stuff that are just a random mess of chemicals.
Right?
In Canada, National Dairy Code defines eggnog as food made from milk and cream containing milk and cream which has been flavored and sweetened. The food shall contain not less than 3.25% milk fat and not less than 23% total solids. In Canada, if a commercial does not contain eggs, it cannot be called eggnog.
Interesting.
Now, ready-made eggnog versions are seasonally available with different spirits or without alcohol to be drunk or bought used as mixes with all the ingredients except the liquor to be added as desired. While eggnog is mostly available from American Thanksgiving through Christmas, in some regions, a marshmallow-flavored version is sold at Easter. Something free to look for.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that, and I'm not sure I'd like it.
Peeps and eggnogs.
Just new.
In 2000, a low-fat, sugar-free commercial versions were available using sugar substitutes and skim and low-fat. No, if you're going to have eggnog, you want the sugar and the calories and the taste. There are some things you don't mess with. That's why we have
sacrilege.
Yeah, that's going to kill you. The Dutch liquor Advent, which around 20% alcohol, and German Likör are essentially an eggnog, although the former only tends to have a similar consistency to eggnog in export markets, where it's sometimes used to make the snowball cocktail. In the Netherlands, Advent is normally available as a thick and creamy confection, which is either consumed as is or used as a topping for various desserts. This just, Angel would like it. It creeps me out. Non-dairy or vegan versions. Some North American manufacturers now offer soy, almond, oat, rice, or coconut milk-based alternatives for vegans. Those with dairy allergens, which that's understandable.
That makes sense.
You know, if you just suddenly you're lactose intolerant and you want to have eggnog, yeah. The history of non-eggnogs go back to 1899 when Amita Lambert, in her guide for nut cookery, gave a recipe for eggnog using coconut cream, eggs, and sugar. In 1973, Eunice Farmelant, in the Natural Food Sweet Tooth Cookbook, gave a more modern non-dairy eggnog recipe. Now, in 1981, Grain Country of L.A., California, introduced grain nog. The earliest non-dairy... Grain nog?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, non-dairy and vegan eggnog. Vegan means that the food contains no animal products, including milk or eggs, based on amakaze, a traditional Japanese fermented rice beverage, and containing no eggs. Grain nog was available in plain, strawberry, and carob flavors. Also, 1981, Redwood Valley Soy Foods Unlimited introduced soy nog, the earliest soy-based non-dairy and vegan eggnog based on soy milk and tofu added for thickness, and it was renamed Light Nog in 1982 and Tofu Nog in 1985. You're really desperate to get that into your body. Now, serving presentation. Now, whether homemade or commercial eggnog is being served, toppings may be added, such as grated nutmeg or ground cinnamon, whipped cream, a cinnamon stick, chocolate shavings, or a vanilla pod. Eggnog, which can be served in glasses, mugs, or stemmed brandy sniffers. Eggnog may be served to guests already poured into a glass or other container, or it may be served in a punch bowl so that guests can serve themselves. Both homemade and commercial eggnogs are available in alcohol-free versions and recipes which alcoholic beverages, generally brown, aged spirits such as bourbon, brandy, or rum are added during preparation or directly to the cup after the nog is poured. For example, in rum, some recipes specify dark rum or spiced rum for extra flavor. A few suggest Bailey's Irish cream liquor, one of my favorites, apple brandy, or even Guinness Stout as the alcohol. That would be harsh.
That would be very...
Guinness is a real strong liquor. It's black. So I'm not sure how that would go over.
I'm going to say you want to really Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Or you want to sleep through Christmas.
You want to sleep through Christmas.
It's like one of those hot toddies.
Hot toddies. Bah humbug, Scrooge. Good night. Now, as flavorings, distinct spices that give eggnog its characteristic taste, including cinnamon, nutmeg, and vanilla, are used to create eggnog-flavored foods and beverages. Eggnog-flavored foods include eggnog ice cream, pie, cupcakes, rum cake, cookies, biscotti, pancake syrup, and bread pudding, French toast, and waffles. Eggnog-flavored beverages include eggnog lattes, developed by Starbucks in the mid-1980s, eggnog-flavored coffee and tea, some craft beers, eggnog stout, and eggnog milkshakes. I'm pretty sure McDonald's came in there somewhere.
They had them once.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
A few years ago, I was so excited.
And then it didn't go very well.
And then they never did it again.
Yeah.
They only had it for maybe a couple of days.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh.
Now, health and safety, we touched on this a little earlier, since most homemade eggnog recipes have historically included raw eggs. While alcohol isn't added to many homemade eggnogs as a bactericide, eggnog freshly made from raw eggs that are infected with salmonella and not heated can cause food poisoning.
What?
A very small percentage of raw eggs are infected with salmonella. In 1981, most of the residents and staff of a nursing home in the U.S. became ill with salmonellosis, and 4 died.
Oh, dear.
Its cause was most certainly an eggnog made on the spur of the moment, with some cases caused by a secondary outbreak caused by food being handled later by people with contaminated hands. A later publication of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration stated that alcohol in eggnog is not sufficient to sterilize contaminated eggs.
You gotta use the strong stuff if you want that to happen.
Yeah. Using commercial pasteurized eggs or heating the milk eggs mixture successfully can make the drink safe. One recipe calls for heating the mixture gently without boiling until it thickens enough to coat the back of a spoon. Now, however, aged alcoholic eggnog becomes sterilized even if it's made with contaminated eggs. Aging alcoholic eggnog, sometimes for as long as a year, also destroys the pathogens. The Rockefeller University Laboratory of Bacterial Pathogenesis and Immunology, there's 2 words for your Scrabble board, carried out the experiment in 2010 where salmonella was added to a strong eggnog which had refrigerated and stored. The beverage still had dangerous levels of salmonella a week later, but it was all gone within 3 weeks. A concentration of at least 20% of alcohol, about the same amount of alcoholic spirits in milk or cream, and refrigeration are recommended for safety. For concerns about the safety of selling products made from raw eggs and milk, the FDA has changed or altered the definition of eggnog a number of times towards artificial replacements for the large number of eggs traditionally used. FDA regulations as of January 2015 require eggnog to contain at least 1% egg yolk solids and at least 8.25% milk solids. Some recipes for homemade eggnog call for egg yolks to be cooked with milk into a custard to avoid the potential hazards from the raw eggs. Now the part that we all love to talk about, alcohol content.
That is individualized. You put in what you want and what you think you can handle.
Give it a spur. Time magazine states the individual should be aware that alcohol content from eggnog from a responsible drinking perspective. When people make homemade alcoholic eggnog, they're to add commercial spirits to prepared eggnog. In some cases, the drink has already...
You mean no moonshine in our homemade eggnog?
Oh, darn. Why?
Why can't I have homemade alcohol in my homemade eggnog?
Let's talk to Niles and see if we can get some of his pear wine going here. Oh, my word. Okay. It says when people make homemade alcoholic eggnog or when they add spirits to commercially prepared eggnog, in some cases, the drink has a very high alcohol content. One columnist states that it is family Christmas tradition. It's not eggnog unless you can set fire to it.
Well then, let's go see if we can set fire to my eggnog.
Jazz composer...
That doesn't seem dangerous.
No. Jazz composer Charles Mingus had an eggnog recipe that contained enough alcohol, including 151 proof rum, to put down an elephant. There is a long history of heavily alcohol-spiked eggnog. In 1894, a book by a North Carolina traveler describes a half-gallon of brandy for an eggnog. And CNN states that some 19th century American eggnog recipes called for a significant amount of alcohol. One recipe called for 3 dozen eggs, a half a gallon of domestic brandy, another half pint of French brandy. The high alcohol content of traditional eggnog inevitably led to problems.
What?
In 19th century Baltimore, it was customary for young men in the town to go from house to house on New Year's Day, toasting their hosts to eggnog along the way. The challenge was to finish one's rounds while standing. Now, in 2015, controversy arose over a Bloomingdale's advertisement which referred to adding alcohol to the eggnog. The ad depicted a man and a woman, with the woman looking away from the man, and it was captioned, "Spike your best friend's eggnog when they're not looking."
Nah.
After being widely criticized on social media websites such as Twitter, signaling to endorse certain aforementioned bad behavior, sexual assaults, Bloomingdale's responded with an apology. In reflection to our recent feedback, a copy we used in our recent catalog was inappropriate and in poor taste. Bloomingdale sincerely apologized for this error in judgment. And of course, the most notable case of alcoholic problems associated with the drink was the Eggnog Riot.
Oh no, a whole riot?
Yeah, at the United States Military Academy, West Point, on the 23rd to 25th December, 1826.
Oh no.
Alcohol possession at the academy was prohibited, along with drunkenness and intoxication, both of which led to expulsion. By 1826, concern had been raised that drinking was starting to get out of hand among the 260 cadets at the academy. The cadets were informed that due to the alcohol problems on site, their Christmas eggnog would be alcohol-free, prompting decision by cadets to smuggle liquor into the academy. Gallons of whiskey were smuggled into the barracks to make an eggnog for a Christmas Day party. This led to a drunken free-for-all. Windows, furniture, crockery were smashed, banisters were torn from walls, fights broke out. One eggnog-addled cadet tried but failed to shoot his commanding officer.
Uh-oh.
The incident resulted in the court-martialing of 20 cadets and 1 enlisted soldier.
Oh, dear. That's kind of funny, also kind of sad.
Yeah. Future Confederate States President Jefferson Davis was found not guilty of any offense and was not expelled. That's crazy. Now, nutrition.
None.
According to the USDA, 1 cup serving of eggnog contains 343 kilocalories of a typical person's daily value of food energy, 34.4 grams of carbohydrates, 21.4 grams of sugar, 19 grams of fat, and 9.7 grams of protein. Time Magazine's Tristan Stevenson reports that eggnog's alcohol and sugar provide energy, eggs supply protein, and the fat from the milk and cream gives a wintertime drinker the necessary layers to deal with the frost. Time Magazine also states that with its cream, eggs, and sugar ingredients, eggnog can pack upwards to 400 kilocalories per cup. CNN states that the relatively small 4-ounce cup of store-bought eggnog boasts a whopping 170 kilocalories, half of them from fat, nearly 10 grams of fat, over 70 milligrams of cholesterol, which is around a quarter of your recommended daily intake. So for those of us out shoveling, shoot a glass or two. Now, National Geographic writer Rebecca Rupp states that the eggnog's saturated fats, cholesterol, liquor, and high-calorie content, there's no way this stuff is good for us.
What?
And Esquire states that the eggnog is irredeemable from the nutritional standpoint. Esquire always ruins all the fun. Period. These prepackaged stuff is mostly made from high fructose corn syrup, dairy fat, a bunch of unlovable additives, and recommends a 2-drink maximum for health reasons. Now,
In my case, I've been drinking it very healthily.
yes, you
I
have.
usually only have 1 cup per day.
Yes. Now, eggnog has a polarized reception from food critics, chefs, and consumers. While Esquire seems to boo-hiss on the whole thing,
Right?
there are some enthusiastic advocates of the beverage. Others are critical of the taste or consistency. The CBC, Canada's media log, says that the ancient drink can be quite decisive. The Guardian writer, Andrew Shanahan, describes eggnog in a critical manner in 2006. People rarely get it right, but even if you do, it still tastes horrible. The smell is like an omelet, the consistency defies belief.
I've never smelled it and thought, ooh, omelet.
Yeah. Now, Times Magazine, Tristan Stephenson, states that eggnog is popular because it ticks every single one of the guilt pleasure boxes on account of being little more than fat, sugar, and alcohol, which makes it ludicrously delicious. A sort of alcohol custard. Yeah.
I can see that.
New Yorker writer Carmen Maria Machado describes an anti-eggnog article in the Times as a buzzkill for providing the drink's calorie count.
Right?
Machado argues that the eggnog's decadence should not be considered sinful. Indeed, it's one of those foods that low-fat variations I believe to be a kind of crime.
Right?
Yes. Canadian chef Heidi Fink from Victoria praises home eggnog, but criticizes the slimy glop you can buy in supermarkets. Chowhound criticized Trader Joe's chocolate-flavored eggnog, calling it ghastly. I'm sorry, that's one of the foods I can't imagine adding chocolate to.
That would be weird.
Yeah. Now, to give you the opinion, consumption in the United States in 2019, 53.5 million bottles were purchased and spent Americans $185 million in eggnog.
Wow.
Now, interestingly enough, the consumption of eggnog was actually down 42% since 1969. It's more popular in the United States than in the 2000s than in the UK, despite the fact that it was developed in Britain and then transplanted. As of 2014, Canadians are drinking less store-bought eggnog, and they drank 5.3 million liters of the commercial eggnog in 2014, and this is less than 1994, when they drank 8 million liters. Some of the possible reasons for declining Canadian eggnog consumption could be concerns about the raw eggs, health concerns regarding the fat and sugar content of the drink.
It's like everything else. You just have to do it responsibly.
Exactly. But that's been our little tiptoe through the tulips for eggnog. For those
Where were the tulips? I did not see any tulips. Did I not drink enough the NyQuil?
Two lips. You got to kiss. Eggnog. But this has been the Bearded Historian. You folks have a Merry Christmas tomorrow, and we will talk to you later. You'll probably catch this, well, tomorrow.
This will be up on tomorrow.
Exactly.
Well, technically there will be something on Thursday because we have to try David's new gift.
Sure. But this has been the Bearded Historian for the Bud Files. You folks have a good evening.
Merry Christmas.